everybody, it's Mrs. Haugen. Today we're going to work on Lesson 11, Problem Set. So make sure you have your blue math packet in front of you. Today our target is to construct or build arrays. So again, you have the individual tiles up here that as long as you're clicked on the arrow, you are able to move those tiles around to make the arrays in the blank spots. So we are going to look at the directions first. It says, use your square tiles to construct the following arrays with no gaps or overlaps. So again, we're going to try to get them as close as we can on our iPads without overlapping them. Then it says, after we've constructed the array, it says to write the repeated addition equation to match each construction. So let's give that a try. So first it says, place 8 square tiles in a row. Okay. Let's try that. 1, 2. Go ahead and do this on yours with me, please. 3, 4. Oh, those are not beautiful here. 4. That one's bugging me. 5, 6. I'm almost done. 7. 8. Oh, I see a little bit of an overlap there. That'll work. Okay, so I did what it said first. I placed 8 square tiles in a row. Now it says construct an array with the 8 square tiles, which means I need to make some kind of a rectangle of some sort. So I have to have equal numbers in each row and an equal number in each column. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply take the end here and move it over, and I'm going to just continue that until I've matched them all up. Just have to give each one a little partner here. And now I have made an array with those 8 tiles. So there's other ways you can do this, but this is just one way that I made an array with 8 square tiles. So the next direction on C says, write a repeated addition equation to match the equations. So because I could arrange them in columns, or I could talk about them and describe them as being in rows, because it didn't tell me which to do, I can do either. So I'm going to choose to do rows. 4 on the top plus 4 on the bottom equals my 8 square tiles. So that is my repeated addition, and that's the one that matches the rows. 4 on the top row plus 4 on the bottom row equals 8 total tiles. Okay? If we look at the next one, they want us to do it very similar, but this time they want us to use 12 squares. Well, I already have 8, and unfortunately, I cannot move these all at once, so it'll only let me do one at a time. So I'm going to just keep them here to build my array. So if I already used 8 squares, and they want me now to use 12 squares, think about how many more do I need to add? How many squares do I need to add? I have 8. I need to get to 12. I need 4 more, right? And look, I've got 4 up here at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the rows I already have, and I'm going to add a square to each row, top row, bottom row, top row, bottom row. And now that I've run out of my 12 squares, I know my array is complete. Those are so icky right there. Okay, so what I'm looking for is letter, oh, they did AA, that's funny. Should be letter B. Write a repeated addition equation to match the array. Now again, they didn't tell me to organize it by rows or by columns specifically. So again, I'm going to choose rows. So if I look at the top row, I have 6 tiles, plus I look at the bottom row, I have another 6 tiles, and it told me at the top that I was only allowed to use 12 tiles, so 12 is my total. And again, for this one, I organized it by rows. That's where I got my repeated addition from, was the rows. Now look at C. Rearrange the 12 squares into a different array. So I have to use all 12, but I have to make this array look different. Now, one simple way you can do this is to simply flip the rectangle. So this rectangle, for example, is laying flat in flat rows, right? Laying down flat. However, to make it different, I could simply stand this array up tall, and then it would be a different array. So I'll show you how to do that. Instead of having 6 rows, like I did before, or 6 columns, sorry, like I did before, I'm going to make 2 columns. So I'm giving each column a square until I run out of my 12, and then we will double check to see if it's different. So I'm giving each, they're crazy. It's hard to do no gaps on the iPad, so I will not be as picky as I was if we were in class. There we go. So now I used my 12 tiles and I made a different array. The one I made at the top was laying down flat. This one that I made is standing up tall. So if I rearrange those squares and then I do what it says on D, I write the repeated addition, I could again look at rows, but this time I no longer have 6 in a row. I now have 2 in a row. And now if I count my rows, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 rows, which means I have 6 number 2s. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to count them again just to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. Now I know that my total is still 12. And again, I used the rows to organize these. I went row by row, and in each row I have 2. So that's the number that I wrote for my repeated addition. Boys and girls, this takes a little bit of thinking. It takes a little bit of time in order to make them exactly the way you want them. So please go back to your class kick and really take your time to complete lesson 11.